I've unmuted myself.
Good. Hello, everyone. Good evening. A very warm welcome to you. It's so close to Christmas. It's so exciting. But what's even more exciting is that we have got the most incredible call tonight. We've been running these now for about 3 or 4 months, and every single week they are so exhilarating, so exciting, and so inspiring. And tonight is no exception at all. Tonight we have an absolute superstar with us. This person has got fantastic experience in social media, but particularly in terms of building a brand. She's a huge success story in Juice Plus. Her name is Christine Lever. She's a presidential marketing director. I'd like to extend an extremely warm welcome to you tonight, Christine. How are you?
I'm good. No pressure then.
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure. Anyway, look.
I'm really good.
Oh, well done. Look, now the thing is, we're just going to roll with this straight away. Sometimes we may have some technical glitches, but we'll, fingers crossed, nothing, we're just going to stay with it. So, my name is James Sanderson. I've been with Juice Plus for 27 years. Can you believe it? And it's more and more exciting every day. In actual fact, I think we are now coming into the most exciting period that we've ever had since I started. And that's because of what's going on with our huge, exciting business. The growth is sort of so outstanding, but also because of the international expansion and the new products that are coming. So I talk to people, I say, like, we're like a car which has been driving around the side roads, just checking everything out for the last 25 years. And now we're going on the big road. Now everybody's going to see what we're all about. So it gives me enormous pleasure to introduce to you Christine. So Christine, let me just ask you a little bit first of all. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Now, I know you're still very, very young, but what's your background before you started with Juice Plus?
Yeah, so I've had loads of jobs, so several jobs. Never really knew what sort of direction I wanted to go in. But before Juice Plus, I was actually working as a sort of a financial advisor in a bank. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, but basically my job was to make rich people more rich. So they would come in with a large amount of money. My job would be to tell them what to invest their money in to make more money, all while my job was staying the same. So obviously, with not a business background, but I'd seen different businesses fail and people make money, lose money day in, day out. So when someone came to me with obviously a Juice Plus opportunity, it's no risk at all. So obviously that's what attracted me to the company. Other than that, I went to high school, I dropped out of college, I didn't go to university, but I've always been a hard worker. And for me, obviously, I know for doctors and different professions you need qualifications or whatever it might be, but I've always been a hard worker, but I've just not necessarily had the qualifications that I would have needed for certain jobs. So for me, this business, there's nothing else that I could have done that would have given me the same opportunity, just simply because I don't have the papers, basically. So when I saw this, I jumped in with both feet.
Fantastic. But you've got the energy, you've got, as you say, the ability to work hard, you're teachable, you have everything that you need to be successful. You just had to find the right vehicle. Christine, what attracted you first to Juice Plus? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of excitement around Juice Plus, of course, but what was the particular thing that attracted you to Juice Plus?
So I'll be honest, so at first when I knew Juice Plus and I'd started to hear of it, I was actually quite sceptical, just because it was really heavily at the time, I don't think it is as much anymore, but it was really heavily promoted as a weight loss product. Now I've always been into my sport. I'm one of them annoying people that can eat and I don't put weight on. So for me, I just thought I don't need the product. I didn't understand it. And then it was when my upline, who is Richard Ravey, so obviously Katie Ravey's brother, he was a professional or semi-professional ice hockey player, same as me, really into his sports, and he was taking the product. And that's when I was like, wow, okay, maybe I need to listen to him then, because I've obviously misunderstood what the product was about. And he explained, that it's a health product and the benefits of that. And I know you're going to ask me a little bit about my product story, but it was basically that got me into it. So I think everybody on some level is a skeptic before we start. And, it's important that we don't rule them people out completely, because potentially that could be the next NMD, PMD that's going to join your business. And for me, that was what happened. So yeah, I saw it on Facebook a lot. That's how it came to my attention. But it was only after Rick giving me his time and explaining the product to me in more detail and the business in more detail, I actually got on board.
And so which of the products were the ones that you ran with straight away? Did you go the shakes, the capsules? What were the ones that you went with straight away?
So for me, Rick was already on the product and he was in the business, and I was interested in the business. I'd never told him, but in the back of my mind I thought, Rick I've grown up with, and I'd like, if Rick can do it, I know I'll be fine. I know I'll be able to do it as well. So in the back of my mind I thought, one day I might want to join this business, so I'm going to get myself on all the products, all the core products. So I got myself on the premium capsules and the complete. I ordered them straight away, so both complete and premium. Yeah.
Okay, good. And then you immediately started, taking them. And what were you beginning to get the sense of as you were taking them? What were some of the things that were happening to you as you started taking them?
So the biggest thing for me, and this is where I think I get a lot of repeat customers from, is obviously I've never used a product for weight loss. I might have dropped a couple of pounds here and there, but I don't measure or weigh myself. So for me, it's the health benefits. So I understand. Sort of not to the scientific level, but I understand what's going on in my body. So basically I've got a really severe vitamin B12 deficiency, which I have to have injections for, or used to have injections for, every other day. So I was in the doctors every other day having these injections, and I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it's something to do with my body just struggles to break down certain nutrients and vitamins. And in the complete, so not the premium, but the complete, it does actually contain B12, and it's obviously, as we know, bioavailable, so it's getting straight into my bloodstream. So it wasn't like an overnight, woke up with a spring in my step, jumped out of bed, felt great, and it was a gradual process of taking the product. Within about six to 8 weeks, I would say, little things like I started going to the gym again, I started working out. This sort of vitamin deficiency, the only way I can explain it is it's like being hungover 24/7. You just have zero energy. It's horrendous. So the product, we all say it gives us more energy, but for me, literally, I felt like I'd been given a new lease of life. But I was that skeptical person, and I did need to see some solid proof. I thought it might have been a placebo effect. I was just convincing myself I felt okay. So I went back to the doctor, and for the first time my vitamin levels were fine, my B12 levels were fine, touch wood, not had to have an injection since, and that's nearly 3 years ago. So for me, the products just, people can tell me to eat fruit and veg, till it comes out of my ears. It's not the same. Your body might not break down fruit and veg as it needs to, or different food groups, whatever it might be, but the product gets straight into your bloodstream, and that is what I was having the injections for. So the product actually had a lot bigger impact on my health than what I thought it ever would. So, yeah.
Wow. That's an amazing story, Christine. I mean, no one can argue with that. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. Now, once you started with the business, talk us through how you went through the positions. So you obviously started off as a dealer, as everyone does. And how did you move up through the positions, and what was sort of going on as you went up through?
Okay, so when I first joined, obviously, like I say, Rick was doing really well. I think Rick was maybe an SC or an SSC at the time. So I went in guns blazing. I was like, yes, I'm going to be able to do this. It's going to be, I'm going to smash it. And I'm speaking to people, and nobody ordered the product. I was like, right, okay, this is awkward. I've spoke to everybody. Now what? So I didn't actually get an order, I think, maybe for my first 5 or 6 weeks. Which I think everybody just assumes, especially like Gen Y, you sign up and they put like 50 orders through. So Rick was like ringing me up saying, Christine, are you still in the business? Are you still active? I was like, yeah, just nobody's ordering. But the one thing that I did was I never stopped speaking to people. And it was crazy. So I was speaking to people throughout them 4 or 5 weeks, speaking to people. And probably on the 6th week, I went STD in the space for about a week. Like literally just got all my orders, because the people that I'd been speaking to got back to me. So a lot of them were waiting for things like payday. I had a couple of people join my team that had been thinking about it. So for me, getting startup to STD was a learning curve of, okay, it's not going to happen overnight. And to some people, 5 or 6 weeks, that is a short time. I know one of the Irish NMDs, he didn't get an order for 18 months, but now he's an IMD. So, you know, you don't sort of, I learned very early on, don't judge, you know, my future success and where I've been in the past, because you never know who you're going to speak to. So that was senior direct distributor. Do you want me to go through sort of roughly each one?
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
So senior direct distributor, was kind of, I would say like my ego got in the way a bit because it just didn't go as I thought it would. It took a lot longer. And those was, I don't know if you remember, James, but that was when if you didn't get SDD your first month, you didn't get a bonus. Do you remember that?
Yep.
So that was me. Didn't get a bonus. But I still got £180 in commission, and I was like, wow, like that was, and it, you know, it still is a lot of money. That was a lot of money. That was my car paid for. So then to sales coordinator, that actually again was a bit of a slow process. I think I just made it in time for a bonus. But the biggest turning point for me was the Nice conference in 2013. So I thought I understood the business. I knew a lot of people did it, and I'd seen a lot of it on Facebook and things like that. I'd been to events. That's something that I've done from day one, is I've got to events. Rick told me to do it, so I did it. Again, like you said, James, you know, I was teachable. I was like a sponge. So in October 2013, I went to Nice conference. I went as an SSC, and this was the biggest turning point in my business. So I went to Nice as an SSC, and when I got back, I had a promotion every single month right up until I went PMD. So like literally October, November, December, January, February, QNMD, NMD, IMD, EMD, PMD. And it's not something that was said. It wasn't a certain training that was done at that conference. It wasn't even necessarily a light bulb moment. It was just, I got it. I understood it. The business was 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times bigger than what I thought it was. There was people standing on stage that had been in the business for longer than I've been alive. And I was just like, wow, okay, I've really underestimated this business. And it was that conference that absolutely changed my business around. And obviously Olivia now, she's 20 years old, 21 years old. She's PMD, youngest PMD. So when I went PMD, I was youngest. I think I was 22, so she pipped me. But it just shows you, you know, like I was saying before, it doesn't matter what qualifications you've got on paper. It doesn't matter your age. The business doesn't discriminate. Like, it's just, if you work hard and you're teachable and you get to the events, and, you know, again, preaching to the choir, but get to the events and you learn new things and you're open to learning, it does, just because I got off to a slowish start doesn't mean that that's how my business was going to carry on. So yeah, it went kind of crazy after the Nice conference.
Yeah, so why do you think, what was it that obviously you had a bit of a slow start and then things suddenly picked up like massively? I mean, obviously you went to the Nice conference, but what do you think that really propelled you up? What you obviously must have built up a tremendous momentum that you perhaps didn't realize that you had.
Yeah, I definitely did not realize that. So I signed someone up into my business. So, but I was working still 7 days a week at this time. So I was working like Mondays to Saturday at the bank and then Sundays into Topshop. So I was working 7 days a week, and I signed up one of my first sort of serious team members who was in Preston, who was like an hour's drive away from me. So we did our first coffee meeting, and there was 3 people there. And I said, oh, you know, we'll do another one in 2 weeks' time. Everyone bring one more person. Well, the next one, there was 15 people there, so they brought a little more than one person, and we did that meeting every 2 weeks, and the final meeting, I think the biggest one was 450 people, and I looked in that room, and I sort of knew 99% of the people in that room were within my network. And it's that thing of, I was working 9 to 5, I'd go home, have my tea, and drive for an hour, do a coffee meeting, drive an hour back, and I'd maybe do that a couple of times a week for one-to-ones trainings. But that's where my biggest network was growing. And it's one of them things, I know a lot of people would have maybe thought, I've had a hard day at work, or it's raining, or I don't like driving on, you know, motorways, or I can't be bothered, I've had a bad day. But it's having that attitude of like, no, I want to leave my job. I want a better future, or whatever it was. So there's that saying, isn't there, you know, you've got to do what others aren't prepared to do so that you can live how others, you know, want to live, sort of thing. And it's that I would say definitely it was that momentum and that sort of mindset that really helped me out, especially in the beginning when I was trying to get my team growing, and yeah, it massively made a difference.
Well done. So you were really chasing down the business, which is so exciting. Let me just ask you, what obviously social media is key for you, and obviously I understand that you're right in the right age group for that. How important has social media been for you to develop your business?
Social media is a really funny one for me, because when I look at my front line, probably 99% of them are family, friends, or customers who I'd have them sort of build a relationship with and join the team. There's not many of them that have actually come through just social media and signed up. I think I'm very much, everyone's different, so everyone learns different and works differently, but I'm very face-to-face. So I think I've got one leg who's in London. Other than that, no one's more than a 3-hour drive away. And I genuinely think that is just because I meet people on social media, but as soon as I can, I get them off social media and I try and meet up with them. So just without even thinking, social media has massively helped me, but it's sort of just a stepping stone to then being able to actually go and, some people can build amazing relationships on social media and never actually meet the person. I'm just not very good at that. I need to be sat with somebody, or even Zoom, it helps a lot because you can see people face to face. And but I would say social media is great as a stepping stone that can then take you on to more personal meetings. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a wonderful tip. I mean, and I think that's something that everybody can identify with, that we want to meet people, don't we? We want to be in contact with people. And that's what's fantastic about our business, is getting to know people, new people. And it's really what it's all about. It's a very sociable business. But, the really, really interesting thing, Christine, is that, obviously we were in Scotland recently at the PMD retreat, which was just so amazing. It was so crazy, but it was so inspiring. And, I had a bit of a chance to have a look at your brand, and I know that that's been a very important part of you developing yourself and in terms of your success. So can you tell us a little bit about how you started moving into the whole concept of developing a brand? Because obviously it's quite a lot bigger step forward from just social media.
Yeah, it's kind of your brand. I mean, I feel like I've got so much that I could tell you about, and I know obviously I don't want to keep going on and on, but your brand is something that, it's not something that I just did overnight. I put a lot of thought into it, and I was actually quite scared of doing it when I first started, because I'd already been in the business 2 years, or nearly 2 years, when I decided that I was going to create basically my brand, which is the Female Fitness Company. And the reason I created that is, at the time I was really into like lifting, and I was doing a lot of weight training, CrossFit and things like that. So I thought I was attracting, my customer base is very much girls who are in the RAF. I've got a lot of customers that need to pass certain fitness tests and things like that. So I sort of thought that's my market, and I want to sort of zone in more on them people. But my brand basically, especially, I don't know how you, James, like, you've been in the business 27 years. Sometimes you just need that little extra something that makes you think, right, it's got me excited, and it's going to sort of bring it back to life again. And that's definitely what the brand did, 100%. The biggest thing as well is it creates intrigue. So like, if you look at my Facebook, I'm not one for spamming Juice Plus. I can't be dealing with that. So like, I'm Christine Lever, I'm not Juice Plus, so my Facebook isn't Juice Plus. But the brand really helps, because I get a lot of messages saying, what is the Female Fitness Company? Is it a gym? Are you a personal trainer? I'm looking to get in shape. So for all these people that have preconceived ideas about Juice Plus, their messages, they might not even realise there is some posts on there about Juice Plus, and there's a link to my online shop and things like that. So if they went digging, they would find it. But my brand is more about creating intrigue and just messaging people. For example, I had a girl who was messaging me. She was really into her fitness, and I said I'll meet up with her in Manchester. So a face-to-face meeting. And she was really honest, and she said to me, if I'd have known it was Juice Plus, because I thought it was a weight loss product, I wouldn't have come and met you. She said, but now that you've educated me about it, she ordered the shake, she ordered the capsules, and she joined her business on that day. So your brand just sort of helps you put across the product and the business how you want to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that does make a huge amount of sense. And, it's very interesting. I mean, I talk to Simon Bowler quite a lot, about the development of the business. And of course, we go back a long time before we had this huge sort of surge in growth. And he always says to me, James, it's all about the brand. It's all about developing your own brand. And of course, you've done that. Katie's done that. So many other people are doing that. And it's obviously really, really working. So can you just tell me a little bit about what you do with your brand? What's your day-to-day activity working with your brand and working with your sort of social media presence?
Yeah, definitely. So again, if you were to look on my actual brand page, it's not, I post on there maybe like every couple of days. It's not something that I don't sit all day on Facebook. But what I do is when I'm posting, I post things to create intrigue and to get engagement. So basically, I'm doing a more detailed training on this on January the 24th. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Everyone's welcome with Katie. But
where's that going to be, Christine?
It's in Bolton in the Reebok Stadium.
Right.
There's me, Sinead Kavanagh and Katie Raving. My subject is branding, so that's why I thought I'd just mention it, just in case you guys did want a bit more detail on that. The links on Katie's wall for the tickets. But basically, with your branding, my main goal with my brand is to get people intrigued, like I mentioned before, and to engage. Because same with your Facebook, if you've got a Facebook where no one really comments or no one really writes, or it's only Juice Plus people. So say me and James are the only people, he speaks to me, I speak to him, and we don't speak to anyone else on Facebook, just Juice Plus people speaking to each other. Facebook's really, really sneaky, and what it does is it filters out anyone who's not in Juice Plus, which are the people we want to be connecting with, right? And we want to be seeing them people. So for all of you guys that have got, works at Juice Plus, which most of us have on our About section, when you go to an event and we all tag each other, Facebook will put me on James or whoever, Juice Plus people, on each other's news feeds, and start cutting out and filtering out people who aren't involved in Juice Plus. And the reason they do that is because they think, if I'm constantly interacting with James, if they show me more of James, then I'm going to use their website more, if that makes sense. So what I try and do is get people connecting who are outside the Juice Plus business. So on my brand, which is obviously my fitness page, I put something up saying, what's everyone getting for Christmas, fitness related, who's getting new trainers, or girls, is it your boyfriend's buying it, who's buying you your presents? And there was loads of people commenting saying, I'm getting this, and there were people who weren't in the Juice Plus business. So then what happens is Facebook then shows my page to more people outside the Juice Plus business. And you kind of got to beat Facebook at its own game. Because like I say, I see it a lot, and you sort of become a Juice Plus cheerleader where the only people you really interact with is like, oh, Simon's put a promotion up, we all like it, which we do to show support. And I've been to an event tonight, so I'm going to check in with all my Juice Plus friends. And someone else has done a Zoom call, so I'm going to comment on their Zoom call. We're all part of a Juice Plus network on Facebook, and Facebook can recognise that. So they'll start cutting out all the people that aren't involved, and you won't see them and they won't see you. So all them people that you think that might have deleted you since you joined the business, they've probably not. It's probably just that Facebook has started hiding them people. A really good tip for that is where it says happy birthdays, at the top of your page it tells you whose birthday it is. I write on every single person's wall that happy birthday, because it's interacting with people from school, work, college. You've got to keep interacting with people outside the Juice Plus network, because otherwise your Facebook just becomes Juice Plus.
Brilliant, Christine.
I hope that makes sense.
Oh,
it's really hard to explain.
No, I think that's fantastic, and I have heard this sort of thing spoken about, but you've said it very eloquently and very clearly. That is absolutely fantastic. So look, I mean, we're just coming up to the end, believe it or not. And it's been an amazing call, and you've been so good in terms of what you've been saying. Let me just ask you, where do you see yourself, Christine, in 5 years' time with Juice Plus? What's your vision?
For me now, obviously, I've sort of learned very quickly. I mean, I went to PMD in 10 months, and for me now, I know it's easy for me to say because obviously I am PMD, but I'm trying to teach my guys, and I had a meeting with a couple of girls, Nicola and that are on the call now, it's not just about positions. I don't want my guys joining to hit STD. I don't want them joining to hit SC. I want them joining so that in 5 years' time, they're not working, they can pay the mortgage through Juice Plus, they can support the families. And for me now, I'm thinking more longer term. Do I want to bring people in who don't hit the fast track STD and then quit because that was their only focus, or do I want to bring people in and straight away teach them about the long-term vision? So that's the biggest thing that I've changed with the mindset of my guys now, is when people are joining straight away, we're thinking of these the next 5 years. So I've got things on my vision board, like I want to set up a charity and to help women who have been in abusive relationships and things like that, and I want to write a book and have it published. So I've got certain goals on there, but as far as the business is concerned now, for me, my long-term goal is to get my team thinking long-term rather than just putting pressure on, hitting these promotions quickly.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. And because of your own story, of the fact that it took you longer to get going and it wasn't like an overnight success story, as a result, you can understand and tell people, look, it may not happen for you overnight, but if you just keep focused, the results will come. And I think the incredible thing about your story is how you got going. And in a sense, you didn't realize what was going on. And then suddenly you had this huge momentum that you were running with because you've been speaking to so many people. And I think that'd be very encouraging for a lot of people, because sometimes people are, oh, well, it hasn't happened for me yet, but people don't realize the impact they're having and the huge sort of momentum they're beginning to develop. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think you don't realize who's watching you as well. Like, two of my friends who I grew up with, Aaron and Sarah, they're both NMD now, and it's sort of within my team. Aaron's my frontline, Sarah's under him, and they watched me for 6 months, and they actually said, we've been watching you. And I got a text off Sarah one day saying we both want to sign up. But if I had have stopped being consistent, or if I'd have took my eye off the ball, we would never have joined. So sometimes the people that you least expect are watching you. And, both of them joined, and both of them got to NMD in 6 or 7 months, I think it was. So, yeah, never stop talking about it, never stop speaking to people, because you just don't know who's watching you.
And Christine, just finally, I didn't put this question on the question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. How much money do you think you've earned since you've been in Juice Plus?
I know this because I've just had my tax bill. So I've earned just short of $250,000.
Can you say that again? You've earned just short of
$250,000.
In what period of time?
Just over 2 years. I'll be 3 years in May.
Wow.
I know.
Amazing. Well, look, Christine, it's 9 o'clock now, and so we're going to finish there, but we're just going to quickly talk about some things coming up in the new year. So, and I'd love you if you could just stay on and just tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening up in Bolton on the 24th.
Yes,
okay,
definitely.
So we'll come on to that in a minute. So, working through January, we've got January the 7th, we've got the London meeting starting again in Kensington at the Down to Earth Cafe. So that's going to be amazing. And it's such a good venue, that. So I really hope that you promote that to your people actually in London, Christine. So I can get you the details about that. January the 9th, we're in Dublin, of course, for the Super Saturday there. So that will be amazing and huge success in Dublin. And there's great training, I think, in Dublin. That's what I love about over there. January the 16th, Saturday, January the 16th, we've got a big Team Vision Day, which we're doing in Swindon. And that's on the Facebook. But it's quite limited in terms of a number of spaces, but it will be amazing. And we've got Joanne Eldred, who's coming to speak to us. Who's the #1 distributor in the northeast of England. She's a PMD as well. And we've also got Brian Main coming to speak to us, who is such an expert on goal mapping. So that is going to be amazing. But then tell us what's going on the 24th, Christine, in Bolton.
So the 24th is at the Reebok Stadium. I believe it's a Sunday, and it starts at 12 o'clock. So there's me, I'm covering social media and branding. Literally, so how to start your branding from scratch and build a brand, and to take it through, obviously, to getting post engagements and things like that. Sinead Cavan is coming speaking, who obviously fastest growing business in the UK. And Katie Ravey, who obviously just gone Millionaires Club. So it's, the tickets are on Katie's wall. I think they're £5.
Right. Okay. And
that's
that's 12 till 6 or something like that, is it? Or
yeah, I think it's pretty much till early evening. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, well that will be amazing. And I've been up to Bolton before, and it's such a fantastic venue up there. And it'll be really, really good. And then, of course, and finally, we're going to finish with this. February the 26th and 27th, we're in Birmingham. And yes, it's going to be amazing. And we expected to have over 3,000 people there. Now, there are only 1,663 tickets left. But what's really interesting is that there's only 10 days left until the end of the early bird price. And the early bird price is £50. And that ends on December the 31st. So I think loads of people are potentially going to miss this one. But within 10 days' time, all of the early bird tickets will be sold out. So it's critical, ideally before Christmas, or at least, in next week, that we actually book our tickets so that we get the early bird. So, Christine, tell us again very quickly about Birmingham. What would you say was amazing for you last year in Birmingham?
Oh my gosh, the speakers. Again, it's not going to be it's not going to the event, it's what you do after the event. So, going to the event and sitting there and not taking notes, that's not going to change your business. But going, taking notes, meeting people, the speakers are absolutely donkulous. The parties are amazing, and these, the big events is where you form your friendships. It's where you meet your sidelines. February in Birmingham is one not to miss at all.
Fantastic. Christine, look, I can't thank you enough for coming on tonight. You've been absolutely amazing. So brilliant.
It's been like, this is your life.
It is. I'm going to come through with the red book in a minute. Yeah. But no, it's been amazing. You've been so real with us, so clear, but what a success story. And obviously a lot more to come in the future for you. But thank you very much indeed for sharing.
Thanks for having me, guys. I hope you have an amazing Christmas as well.
Okay. Take care, Christine. Thank you very much indeed.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
for now.
Thank you, Christine. Bye.